So the common agenda, really, it is an articulation across your diverse players around the challenge that you want to work on together. I think some of the other things that we found useful is explaining why it is that we believe that working collaboratively and collectively across diverse sectors and making a long-term commitment to addressing the issue is something that makes sense. Beyond that common agenda itself, the group needs to be able to define and articulate some clear and shared goals for change to make it concrete and tangible for folks. And then as well, because you are such a diverse group coming together, the common agenda also asks the players to be really clear, not just about what you're going to do, but also how you're committing to work together with one another as you go on this journey. And so being able to identify principles that will guide your joint work, I think, can also be an important component of a robust common agenda. All right, so here's an example of a common agenda, and this is one that I happen to know very well. It features the work of Headwaters Communities in Action, which is a diverse, comprehensive, citizen-led effort engaging multiple sectors that focuses action on community well-being. And I was instrumental in establishing Headwaters Communities in Action before coming on board to Tamarack. So one of the things that we really struggled with was beginning to define and make sense for our community about what it was we really meant when we were talking about community well-being. So one of the first tasks that our diverse working group really undertook was that graphic that you see in the top left corner, which is our articulation of what we saw as the 5 core pillars that contributed to community well-being. And under each, though you can't see it very well, there are 2 or 3 descriptive bullets that help people understand what we mean when we're talking about each one of the pillars. So fairly early on in the work of Headwaters Communities in Action, there was a commitment that what we really needed, among other things, was a bit of a community well-being report, a bit of a status update on where are we with respect to these dimensions of community well-being. So using that frame of the 5 pillars, we then went out and spent a lot of time undertaking a citizen survey. And while we asked a number of core questions, I think the 2 most pivotal questions that were central for us anyway in beginning to refine our common agenda around community well-being was asking folks to talk about what were 3 things that they absolutely loved about living in our region, and secondly, what were 3 things that they thought we ought to be really focused on or concerned about if we wanted to sustain our high quality of life. And from that, we got all kinds of input that ultimately enabled us, anyway, to take those 5 pillars and articulate them a bit more, in a bit more detail around 11 core areas. So what we were able to do was sort of do a bit of a story around where each one of those 11 topic areas was, what it meant, 2 or 3 data points that had relevance for the community that helped us assess where we were at in terms of each one of them, and how that compared with other communities and or with the province. And ultimately, because we really believed in that importance of aspiration, we really worked hard as well to collect stories that we could feature, in each one of these 11 topic areas that illustrated an innovative initiative that was bubbling somewhere within our region that was already showing that positive work was occurring around some of these themes, to give people ideas and opportunities to better link up their efforts. So in terms of the common agenda and the work of articulating what it is we're about, these 5 questions were developed by the White House Council on Community Solutions when they began their work around what they call Opportunity Youth, which were the folks across the U.S. under 30 that were neither employed nor in training and education. And they very quickly, as a group, recognized that in order to advance action on their agenda, they really needed to embrace collective impact as a framework to help them move forward. And in articulating what that commitment really meant, these 5 questions, I think, do an excellent job of beginning to kind of create a shared understanding of not just the focus on the topic area that you are all concerned about, but helps to make more concrete and real the kind of commitment that you're making not only to one another, but also to your approach to resolving your issue.